How's it look?
So let me zoom into your face. I didn't know you could look that good.
Today, me lords, we go into battle.
That's for a child.
They were poorly fed, so they were a lot smaller back then.
Children?
No, people in general. That's why if you find a Civil War, if you find a Civil War outfit,
He was gonna say a costume.
Well, I mean, if you find it and you can put it on, then it's a costume. It's
Are
not
we on?
real.
Are we rolling?
Oh, we've been going.
It's not real because they were shorter
Uh-huh.
and they were a lot skinnier
Okay.
because we weren't fed
Oh,
very
if
well.
you
back
have
then.
one that you can actually.
Yeah,
fit
if
in?
you have one you can actually fit in, that chances are it's not real.
Is that the same with Vietnam?
It's kind of similar with Vietnam. A lot of skinny guys in Vietnam. It's hot.
Because most of the dudes in Vietnam, how many were drafted? How many volunteered? People in Vietnam, that was a young kid's game, right?
I mean, it's actually kind of a misnomer that when people say that it was only 18-year-olds going to Vietnam, it's not.
I
really
never
true.
heard that. I guess I'm just basing off of, fucking. We were at war or Discovery Channel or whatever.
It's just when people are fearing whether they're going to be drafted or they're going to go to college. That's usually about the age. But I mean, Jimi Hendrix didn't go to Vietnam.
Why?
Just luck of the draw. So what most people don't understand is when you get drafted, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go to war. You still have to fulfill the needs of the army. So let's say
Hendrix got drafted.
I'm not.
Didn't go to Vietnam.
I'm not 100% sure if he got drafted.
Somebody will tell us.
He may have volunteered, but
So he did go to war.
no, he was in the army in the 82nd Airborne during the Vietnam. But I do not believe he went to actual Vietnam.
So no combat.
No combat. Yeah,
Do you want to put your headdress on?
it's too small. I tried. I would have done the whole podcast in the headdress of my people, but
So we keep it
okay, we keep it.
for collapse of society,
Collapse of society.
and we make a new boy king. The king, it's like Excalibur. If you can't, you have to pull it from the rock. You have to be able to fit your
If
head
you
in
can put your
this.
head in there, you can be king. You can get your head in there. I'm sure there's some people out there in podcast land that can get their head in there.
Only king in a manner of like the Queen of England. She has no say and no power. It's just watch this, and don't pay attention to our armies are about to fucking take all your shit.
I mean, come on. You can't say she has no power. She had her daughter-in-law killed. She's got some power. I mean, she's...
What the fuck? What is it? Okay, now it's finally quiet.
Oh,
Okay, now we can start. Go.
now we start. Go. Quick.
Okay, what?
What?
What's all this Tuesday shit I keep hearing about?
Oh, it's just... so as the primaries go, so what the Democrats do is they start out really slow. They have these 3 elections in these 3 states really slow. So it's like, we're going to do this state, we're going to do this state, we're going to do this state. And then on Super Tuesday...
Any significance to the states they picked to do it in?
Do
we get to pick? Like, can I go, okay, mine's going to be in Texas.
It's already predetermined. It's already predetermined, and they
What's
open
it
the...
based off of? Is those like the weakest states?
I'm sure there is some crazy, they got some crazy rule or whatever on why they do it in those states. And then on Super Tuesday, which was yesterday, there's 14 states that all vote on the same day. So it's kind of a big deal because,
But this vote doesn't mean shit, right?
well,
What are they voting on?
they're voting on who's going to be the representative of the Democratic Party.
Who voted?
Just Democrats. Well, unless you're a crazy Republican and you
The people voted.
Yeah, it's still just people. Still people just getting
So
in
some
line and
dudes
going
went and
click,
voted.
click. Yeah.
But
Like Gina and Nana last night at 7 o'clock went and voted in the Tennessee primary.
it's only for Democrats, or they voted Trump?
They voted Trump.
Was Trump on the ballot, or they just wrote it on?
Yeah, Trump's on the ballot for Republicans.
So, is there another Republican?
No, nobody else is running. He has won all his primaries.
I wonder just off the votes last night, if that counted, like, boom, that's your president. I wonder if enough Trump supporters showed up to elect Trump as president.
I doubt anybody. And then I actually had a thought in my head because I asked. I'm like, was there a lot of people there? And she's like, no, there was nobody there. We were like the only ones that came to vote for Trump. And I'm like,
Came to vote for anyone.
well, because they were a Democratic primary for us was last night too. Maybe I don't think so. Anyways, but
So is the Democratic voting in a different place than the Republican voting?
yes, no.
Or it's like it's at the fucking
Yes,
elementary
I'm sorry
school
for
or
the
something.
for the primaries. It's all segregated. For the president, they're all in the same place.
Is that because there's going to be a tussle?
Maybe. I mean, there could be. No, it's just that they usually don't go at the same time. But I was thinking, because she said nobody showed up, I'm like, man, what I should have done, because you can write a name in on the ballot. I should have had them write my name in on the ballot and then got everybody in Waverly to go vote for me for president. And then I could have went to the convention and contested Trump. It would have been awesome.
Why would you contest him?
Because I would be like, hey, maybe you could kick me a fucking Secretary of Defense spot. And, and
gotcha.
Trump makes me
Okay.
Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
Or, hey, how about that VP seat? What's up?
And you think that's what Bloomberg is all about?
Guaranteed. Bloomberg is trying to get a seat in, he's trying to get something. He either wants VP or he wants probably Secretary of Defense or something like that.
What do you think they're going to offer him?
Here's the problem. The
I don't
problem
think
is,
any of them like him.
the problem is Joe Biden is dying.
Like physically dying?
Physically dying. He has dementia. Guaranteed he's taking fucking every dementia medication there is on the planet. He's physically dying. So I don't think anybody in the Democratic Party has really even thought about what if Joe Biden wins. I don't think they're there yet. I think the only thing they're thinking of right now is it can't be Bernie. That's the only thing they're thinking about is it can't be Bernie. So I don't think there's anybody even in the Democratic Party that's like, hey, who's going to be the vice president? Because they're trying to kill Warren too, but
She's probably the healthiest out of them.
yeah, she's probably the healthiest out of them, and I bet she is.
Trump's probably. You don't ever hear anything about Trump's health, do you?
No, well, he's currently the youngest man running for president.
How old is he?
76. Biden's in his 80s.
How old was Obama?
Obama was pretty young. I want to say he was late 40s, maybe early 40s.
The first 4 years, it looks like they put 20 years on him.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, the reality is, why would anybody want to be president unless you're an egotistical maniac? Because
Well, so you can steal a lot of money and.
well, I mean, yeah. Okay. Let's when you think
what's
about
Obama, what did Obama go in with, and what's Obama got
yeah,
now?
he's worth a lot of money now, but most of the people that become president already have that money. It's like
Did he?
it's like no, Obama's one of the, like Jimmy Carter. I don't think Jimmy Carter had a lot of money. I mean, yes, his family did have a pretty decent farm, but I think they almost went bankrupt.
Peanuts.
And so I don't think Jimmy had a lot of money, but Jimmy didn't leave with a lot of money either, because as lame duck of a president as Jimmy Carter was, I don't think he was very crooked. But anyways, so yeah, Bloomberg's trying to get something. He wants some political seat, just like Buttigieg and just like Warren. That's the only reason why Warren is holding on, because I think she's hoping, which she lost terribly yesterday, she was hoping that she would have enough delegates to throw at Bernie and go, hey, make me your vice president.
Did they all get up and speak last night?
Yeah, they all
or
got up
something?
and spoke.
So, the only thing of Warren I know is that her commercials are fucking horrible. Like, her commercials make her look like she's fucking loony. It's like if you took your grandma, who's like, that heavy metal's gonna warp your brain, and you tried to make her a rock star and you had 24 hours to do it. That's what her commercials look like. So I have to imagine that was probably the best material they had to work with that they put in a commercial. So the real life, she's got to be a whack job.
Well, I mean, first off, she used to be a Republican when she made all her money, and now she's claiming to be a Democrat.
Who's the other chick I was talking about last time? I saw another one of her commercials. She's like, I'm for the people. If you're having a hard time paying your rent
Klobuchar.
and you need assistance, I'm right there with you. Really? Really?
Yeah, no, not really. Klobuchar, you got money too. That is the it would be
I've
it
never
would be
even
better.
heard of her.
It would be better. I think. I mean, who knows? You could be totally wrong. I feel like it would be better if you just came out and went, "Hey, look, I'm Mike Bloomberg. I made all this money doing this. This is what I did to make this money.
How do you make his money?
He made his money off short sales, and so they improved the way they sell on Wall Street. So like when you remember the old days when they would talk about traders on the floor and they're like throwing fucking tickets and shit, and everybody's crazy and buy fucking 10 barrels of oil. It's all done by computers now. So if you look at the trading floor now, there's like one person walking through there with a fucking broom and shit. That's it. Nobody's there anymore.
You don't even physically go there anymore, do you?
You don't need to. Bloomberg was part of the company that created the ability to sell at microseconds. So those are short trades.
Is it an algorithm that does it now?
Yeah, it's all algorithms that do it.
There's not a dude.
There's not a dude. You don't call a dude. There's not some dude. There's not some smart dude that's like, all right, it was really sunny last week. We need to put all our money in pork bellies. They don't do that anymore. They just look at the computer and the computer goes, oh, hey, coronavirus in China. We need to put all our money in toilet paper.
And you don't even fucking touch that anymore. The computer makes that.
Yeah, the
trade.
computers make all those trades now. It's not like you have to, buy. I don't have to contact somebody. It's all done on the computer.
So we had some tornadoes. My phone started going nuts the night before last night, Tuesday night, Monday night, Tuesday morning. My phone started going crazy, and that was at 11:45, or it was 11:30. It started going off, and I looked at it, put it down. It went off again. I looked at it, did that about a dozen times, and what it said was tornado warning or tornado watch. I don't know, whichever the downgraded one is. Until 11:45. That was at 11:30. So at 11:45, we're good to go. Midnight, I lay down. And I heard some high-level thunder. You heard some shit. No big deal. In theory, we should be able to hear the sirens, but you can't. The sirens don't do dick unless you're fucking right under them.
Town.
If there's any wind or storm, you can't hear the sirens at all. So we go to bed midnight, about 3:30, all hell is breaking loose. When we wake up, I wake up to a bunch of, oh my God, are you guys alive? Are you okay? Is everything fine? And I'm like, I guess we better look around. I don't know. Are we okay? Nothing's turned over. We heard hail to the point where I figured I would see we'd look at the cars and there'd be fucking golf ball size hail. Luckily, I've never experienced that. I mean, I've seen a few of them driving around. I don't know where that happened at. And for the most part, things were fine. When it started happening, I started looking at our local newspaper's Facebook page because in theory, they are the reporters. That should be the people that are current. So, and they're not reporting shit. So I'm like, okay, that's probably one person and she's probably dead or whatever, or not reporting. So it's either happened and she's gone or nothing's happening. So when we get up in the morning, we start seeing stuff on Facebook about trees down and a church has been wrecked. It took some doing to actually find the carnage. Amanda found it. There was some stuff. When we put it in the GPS, I'm like, this can't be right. The GPS says it's 20 minutes away. So we drive out there with the drone. We throw the drone up and start looking. And there's a house that about half of it's gone. And we'd heard there was 2 deaths. And we like, none of this looks like anybody would have died in these. Some outbuildings, some lawnmowers turned over, a lot of trees, like all the trees in this area just snapped off on the top, and we're flying the drone around. We fill the cart up, land the drone. A buddy of ours from the utility department comes over and we have a conversation for a few minutes. He goes, hey, you guys should go up here to the left and drive out there a mile or two. There's some real damage out there. So we go out there and there's some really big homes out there. I'd guess they're probably built in the last 5 years, all stone, multi-million-dollar homes, beautiful, beautiful homes. And it looks like a bulldozer literally ran through the middle of the house. Like that, the tornado had to fucking run through the house, right, to accomplish that.
Yeah, right over that, yeah.
And the whole center of the home was gone. Everybody we saw seemed like maybe they were in shock and they're just in motion, or they're just of the realization that we have to get this done. Everybody was working. All the utility crews were out there working. All the fire services and law enforcement were out there. Tons and tons. It's like Jeff said, he goes, I can't believe the response, the work crews that are here. that this county has that much manpower. And I think it's, volunteer force, a lot of them. A lot of their own equipment, and there's tractors in there running around. Fuck, we saw 100 dudes with chainsaws and gear and stuff.
I mean, they were already putting poles in the ground. I mean, already re-putting.
Yeah, the power company was
power
out there.
company was
They had
out there.
excavators out there moving around snap trees and shit. It's bad. I mean, we had some shit. You look in Nashville, I think, because we're more spread out and we're not as densely populated. Nashville got fucking wrecked. Like, parts of Nashville are just gone. Apparently, it moved all the way through the state. I don't know that I'd ever seen, like, I've lived here for 13 years. There was a newspaper ad of a tornado that literally came across the lakes behind my house within like 400, 500 feet probably. But I've never seen a tornado. I still have not. But this is the closest we've been to any of the wreckage of the tornado. Had you seen anything before like that?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Where'd you see 'em?
In Kansas.
Kansas. What were you doing in Kansas?
Just passing through.
And just saw it.
Passing through. Yep. Had to shelter down in Kansas.
What do you take away from yesterday?
I mean, I don't know. I'm still under the illusion of when it's your time, it's your time. It doesn't matter what you do. But man, I was just amazed at how much destruction it does, and then
The one next to it doesn't even have any
goes
shingles.
goes right past the place, and not a fucking shingle off the building. It's kind of amazing. It's very hand of God. Very fucking, laser beam cutting right through the land. And you could, where it touched down, you could just follow it through the woods. You just see the tops of the trees snapped off, go to the next house. That house is wrecked, but the house right next to it's not. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
So if when it's your time, would you not bother to put a storm shelter in?
No, I feel like I need to put a storm shelter in.
Would you get in the storm shelter?
I feel like it would be
So
more.
it's not really when it's your time, it's your time.
I feel like
we're
it's
gonna
more-
try to prevent it.
I feel like it's more, Wizard of Ozzy about the storm shelter, because, like, same thing. Our dog goes, anytime there's thunder and lightning, our dog goes bananas, and we have to. So I have a what they call a partial underground house. So half my house is actually below ground level, perfect for these scenarios. Anytime there's a thunderstorm, the dog has to be taken in that room, and somebody has to sleep in the other living room with the dog.
Do you sedate him?
No, because once we're in there, he calms down, because you can't. It's not as loud. You can't hear it in there. So my side of the house, which is above ground, it's just a regular stick and wood house. The other side of the house is most of it's brick and mortar. So
True brick and mortar. 'Cause
Yeah, true
Like
brick,
the
yeah.
houses we saw yesterday, even though from outside appearance they look like they're made of stone, those are all stick-built
Yeah,
homes.
all
It's
stick-built
just
homes.
a facade, really.
So that always happens. So Gina, it was probably about 11 o'clock, went to the other side of the house with the dog. And then like 11:30, she comes barreling into the room, and she's like, Brandy called. There's a fucking tornado coming. I look out the window. The fucking wind's blowing. I'm
It's
like,
dark.
It's dark. I'm like, no, we've had worse winds than this. There's no tornado. I'm flashlight looking for the tornado and shit. It ain't out here. I don't see no.
What kind of flashlight was it?
Those good C battery flashlights that we get
That's
from
a hell of a
Costco.
flashlight.
Those are good flashlights. So go in the living room, same thing. I got in the living room, it was probably 11:30, and they're like 11:45, the storm's over. And I'm standing there, Gina's on the phone calling everybody, we're in a hurricane. I look again outside with the flashlight. I go,
So at like midnight when it calmed down,
wind's
I
blowing.
actually wondered, are we like in the eye of the storm?
that's what Gina's like, we're in the eye. That's why the wind's not blowing. I go, look,
That only lasts for a minute.
normally, if the wind is blowing hard, if I think the wind is blowing hard enough where there's going to be any kind of damage, I'll go take the flags down. I don't know why that's the first thing I think of, but I take the flags down. But I'm like, it's not even blowing hard enough to get the flags down. So 11:45 rolls around, and I just go to bed. I'm like, I'm going to bed, which, once again, I go to the side of the house that is the least protected. So that would be the Dorothy getting sucked up into the thing. So, and I go to bed. I go back to bed. And then the next morning, she's like, the winds were 125 miles an hour. And I have a fifth wheel, and it is parked in the open. I go, there's no fucking way we had 125 mile an hour winds that fifth wheel did not move an inch and it's not flipped on its side. Plus, we just put in a tiny house which weighs less than the fifth wheel, and it ain't flying around the sky anywhere. So I'm like,
are we going to address
maybe?
Are we going to address strapping the tiny house down?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm gonna anchor it.
Footer it, or are we just going to use some corkscrews?
I'm going to use some corkscrews anchors, and then I'm going to anchor those with concrete.
Well, we just you bought a 24-inch auger, right?
Yeah.
What is that? That's this big, right?
Yeah, that's that big.
Why don't we just auger some holes?
Because it's not as simple as that
It
anymore.
is. No, hold on. It is. You auger some holes. You put this spade thing with this eyelet in there and this cardboard tube, and you fill it with concrete.
Because here's the thing, with that kind of reinforcement, what I'm going to have
The house is
is a
ripped in half.
skid, is a couple of skids, and the house is still going to be gone. I'm going to anchor it a little bit, but for the most part, if there's bad weather, she's going to have to come in the real house.
Let's just anchor it on one corner, so it goes.
So it doesn't go anywhere. How about I got a better idea? How about I anchor it, but I hook it to 50 foot of chain, so you get a little bit of a ride, right? So
It's
there's
like
a little bit of
people pay a lot of money for that. You go up in the airplane and then they drop, so you get to do weightlessness.
Yeah.
They pay lots of money for that.
So I mean, twice we have had. So this is the second time, and I believe that my house is like right in the danger zone. So anytime there's a storm that comes through, that misses Waverly, kind of misses Camden, and heads to Clarksville, our house is like right there. So we get some crazy weather at our
Right
house.
by the water. They say it follows the water. Something about the magnetic.
We get some crazy weather at the house. But so far we've had 2 really good storms, and nothing has happened there. Like the last time when all the power went out, I didn't even have a single tree come down on the property. So maybe the third time's the charm. I don't know. So I'll go in the other room next time and watch
You
TV.
see these storm shelters where Cletus just took a lawnmower shed and piled dirt up around it, and I'm like, there's no fucking way that it's not just gonna suck that. Like, there's tornadoes come through that literally suck the slabs of houses off the ground, right? Like there's bare earth where it hasn't been seen for 100 years. But Cletus fucking just uses some 2x4s and some siding off an old trailer and burrows some dirt up around it, and that's a storm shelter. You look at that thing, like they'll come in and cut a hole in here, put a box in there, anchor it into the sides with these spikes, and it just has a trap door. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, they can come right in, they can put it in here. It's, $5,000. It'll seat, 10 people. And it's like $5,000. I'm like, well, what do you get for 10 grand?
Yeah, that's my.
How much is the one I can put 60 people?
That's
in?
my
And then
problem
before
too.
you know it, you're like, man, I really don't want to spend $40,000 on this thing we're not going to use. When I guess the day we fucking need that bitch, we'll wish we had the $2,000 one.
Yeah, because I'll do the same thing. I'm like, okay, I can get the 5-person one put in my garage, no problem. Boom, they'll drop it right in, and I'm like,
What if
I
you're trapped and we're going to be there a couple days?
yeah, if I put the 10-person one in there, I could put some shelves in there, and we could put some food in there. If I go the 12-person one, which may not fit in the garage anymore, which means I'm gonna have to dig somewhere else around the house, I could put some guns and all kinds of crazy shit in there. It just gets out of hand really quick.
So, panic prepping.
Panic prepping. Everyone is panic prepping.
Why are we just now seeing it right now? So the reality, like the real, oh shit, this is happening, right? Was Italy a week ago?
Yeah.
And then before that, China's been hit, but we're really not seeing shit from China. I am getting emails every day from China going, hey guys, everything's awesome, because we have some carbon fiber stuff and we have some different little trinkets made in China, right? They are hitting us up more than they ever have. Meanwhile, we ship a lot of things to China, and our clients in China are like, hey, I know you sent this a week ago. I know you sent this 3 weeks ago. Tracking just disappeared. Like it's in motion and it never goes anywhere. So Amanda talks to the postmaster yesterday, and the postmaster's like, well, it could be in China or could be sitting in Memphis. Well, you're the postmaster. Can you just pick up and call on the red phone and find out where that number is? Or do you just not want to do it? Like, what's the real deal? I don't even know at this point who the postmaster is. That's what Jeff said. He's like, I feel like they could do something. 2 weeks ago, we just go in our normal shipping software, we open it up, and it's like, boop, 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 boop. There ain't shit going to China. Don't send shit to China. But dudes in China are like ordering stuff, and I have conversations with them. I'm like, hey, we're being told there's not shit going to China. They're like, well, we're getting mail. We're getting stuff from the United States. I just said last night on live feed, there's not a fucking thing going to China. There's nothing coming from China into the United States. And the dude's like, I just got a package. I go, where are you? He's like, I'm in Kentucky. I go, how'd you get it? DHL is still shipping. So that's the magic fucking mojo is DHL. The U.S. Postal Service, not going into China.
Is anybody getting their wish items fulfilled? Because you know that's coming out of China. So if that fucking 10-pound rubber dick that you got off of Wish,
is there really a 10-pound rubber dick?
Yes. If you've got that from Wish, let us know so we know that. I mean, if Wish is still sending shit, you know the doors in China are open.
How much is a 10-pound rubber dick?
I don't know. I could do a little research. My account got locked.
I'm thinking Secret Santa.
Yeah, that would be a great Secret Santa gift.
That way we just have them.
As long as it's under the $20 mark.
Closet. We have them in the back closet, and we don't have to.
You know the ladies out there would love that.
I would love. I mean, fuck, just to imagine a 10-pound rubber dick. I would just take it and just put it in an empty parking spot at Walmart and just sit there and videotape.
That would be.
Is it still videotaping, Brandel? Is that what we call it? I call this a phone, but I don't talk on it. I mean, is it really at this point a phone anymore?
That would be a good video. So do you think, using that logic, do you think the other day there was two tweakers in the bushes laughing as they were videotaping us playing with that dildo in the lube over in the parking lot?
Hold on. There was no playing with it, and it was still brand new in the wrapper. But there was, I think dicks were coming out of the ground over there.
Yeah.
I think that ground just sprouts dicks. That or when that place burnt down, maybe there was a dick store in there.
It's definitely
like a dick toy store.
It definitely seems like the
because there is a dick toy store up the road. Or here's my thought: on the other side of the interstate.
Other side of the interstate.
There was a sex toy shop, right?
Okay.
And we'd seen it. We went in there 8, 9, 10, maybe a year or so after we moved here, right? I wanted to see what was in there. And they had used sex toys. They had sex toys in there that had been opened and put back in and just taped up with clear fucking packing tape. Like they clearly had been removed. I don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody just remorse bought it and then took it back. And they had VHS tapes in there. Fucking, they were renting VHS porn tapes there at that store. I feel like that store's out of business. Maybe I think somebody broke in. There was no money. They took some inventory. And the cops stopped them down there, and the dildos got left out on the fucking ground.
It could be.
We found what? 3 bottles of lube.
Yeah, 3
Was there lube in the bottles?
One had a one.
What flavor was that stuff? Was the flavor? How old was it when you tasted it? Was it still apple martini lube, or was it rancid? Okay, so back on target. So China's hitting us up left and right, going, "Hey, we're open for business, guys." Blah blah blah. We don't have shit coming in here from China. So are they being told by their government, hey, business as usual, or are they so desperate that they have to feed their kids? They have to fucking bring that money in through PayPal or however you're paying them. I don't know what the answer is. The other thing is, if this virus is real, well, we know the virus is real, but it's not killing motherfuckers. People are recovering from it. We have multiple cases in the United States that have already recovered and are up walking around. Do we need to be concerned that product that comes through, how long does the virus live? They say 10 to 14 days. Carbon fiber keychains cut in a combat cock, nice ass carbon fiber keychains, red and white inlay. Will the coronavirus live on that? We know it does for 10 days. Do we need to be concerned about bringing that shit in here? Your feeling is that the shit's already here.
Yeah, the shit, I feel like...
There's been some weird things that have happened.
That the shit is already in the United States and it's already spread pretty well.
Do we want to talk about why you think that or no?
No.
We don't have to say names. We know a guy.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, Christmas time, I know a guy that was up in Oregon, and he works at an old folks home. And he came out here to visit. Well, I'm like, how are you getting the time off to come out and visit? He's like, they're quarantining the entire old folks home. Now this is at Christmas time. And I'm like, quarantine? He's like, yeah, all these old people are dying there, and they don't know why they're dying. I'm like, they don't know why they're dying? He's like, no, they're getting pneumonia, and they're dying. And they don't know how they're getting it. So he comes here and gets sick and ends up in the Nashville hospital. They don't know why he's sick in the Nashville hospital. Gets better. He's a younger guy. Gets better, and goes back to Oregon. But where are those cases? Washington. Where are those cases where the 9 just died? Up in Washington. So I feel like this thing has been here longer than we actually think it has, and it's just well, either they hushed it or they really just didn't know what it was, because we didn't start calling it Corona until the Chinese were like, it's Corona.
Good news. You know what that means?
What does that mean?
We're fucking.
Oh yeah, we're good to go. I'm good to go. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
If you had it, I fucking had it.
I'm good to go. I brushed that shit right off.
I think it made me stronger.
It might have. Maybe. I don't know.
I see better at night.
Do you? Really? I'm losing vision in one eye. It's pretty.
Do you wear glasses?
Pretty horrific. I should, but I don't.
Do you have glasses?
I do.
You went and saw Dr. Shelton?
No, I did not.
Someone?
I went and saw someone.
So Shelton made me some glasses, or Shelton had some glasses made for me 3 years ago. Nice. Put them on. Fucking cool, right? I'm like, fuck, I ain't wearing these damn glasses. Put them away. Vision gets a little worse. I'm like, maybe I'll try the glass. Oh shit, these don't work at all now. My eyes have gotten a lot worse. So he makes me some new glasses. I have them. I got them about 6 months ago. I put them on for about 5-10 minutes. I can read perfectly right here. Not here.
Yeah.
Not here. I'm like, okay, everything happens here now. So I have them on for about 20 minutes. Take them off. I can't see shit. I'm like, oh shit, I'm really fucking blind now. Yeah. But I forget about it. My eyes are kind of tired and sore. Hour or two goes by and I'm like, oh shit, I can see again.
Yeah.
Fuck these glasses.
Yeah, I go to the same place. It's a place here in Camden, and that's just because the insurance covers it. Yeah. Insurance covers it. And she literally talked me into getting bifocals. But the thing about it was, she was like, "Man, your eyes are pretty good." And I'm like, "Well, then why am I getting glasses?" And when I noticeably I have an eye that is degenerating faster than the other. I don't know if that's common. Yeah, it's my fucking left eye that is degenerating faster. So like if I close my eye, I can't see the same shit, but my other eye is compensating for it. So like even with the glasses, when they give me the glasses, I'll put the glasses on and I'll be like, man, I feel like I can see better with them off than with them on. Every time. So I don't know.
You shoulder the gun on your left shoulder?
On my left shoulder, yeah. Where else would I'm not Larry Vickers. I don't do everything wrong-handed.
So you put your left-handed.
Yeah.
Your left eye dominant.
Yeah.
Why don't you just shoulder left-handed and use your right eye?
We'll put a real kink in the neck, leaning way over like that.
We just have a thing machine where that puts your optics over here.
Yeah, we could do that.
You could right-hand shoot. You could left shoulder, still work the bolt with your, because it's right-handed gun.
Yeah. I'll just squint harder.
Why don't you just use a laser?
Because we haven't made one yet.
What are you talking about?
We haven't made. They're not really practical. It's not like James Bond. You have to have a big power source.
I don't believe that. If it's in James Bond, they have it. If somebody can think of it, somebody's already done it. It's like this space stuff, Star Trek. When we were watching black and white Star Trek, because Dad watched black and white Star Trek.
Well, that was only because of the TV. They actually filmed it in color. That's how old we are.
So that was all real. I mean, every bit of that you came to find out it all happened. Sleestak.
I just feel
I found a real Sleestak costume.
Did you really?
A real one.
How much they want for it?
Like $8,000. I think it's worth
tough.
it, man.
Yeah, but I mean, what was it made out of?
Like latex.
Vulcanized rubber, probably.
Yeah, it's a real one.
Is it any?
Oh wait! It's not TV show. It's Sleestak's from what's that? You're an angry elf. What's that guy's name? Cotton-headed Nidmuggins.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. It was the Will Ferrell Land of the Lost.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
it's
yeah,
from that.
It's still Sleestacky.
But what if we get it and it doesn't fit you or me? We're gonna have to get a guy that can wear
Just wear the Sleestak outfit.
I think that's the move, though. I think like when the new guys come in, we make them wear a costume. Like when they come, the first time a dude comes to you and he's like, "Hey, what do I do now?" Go put on the wiener costume.
How about we put the 10-pound dildo in the parking lot and videotape it, and as soon as somebody shows an interest in the 10-pound dildo, Sleestak gets out of the car and is like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's mine," and goes over and picks it up.
That'd be awesome. It's like taping money to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Nobody picks a penny up. I do.
I do too.
Somebody,
Brando, you're a weirdo though.
somebody here every morning when I go into the bathroom, there's change on the floor, and I'm like, who the fuck? I don't even have change in my
I
pockets.
bet it's. You know, I
It's
know
not.
you
It
have a
happens.
theory,
It happens on days.
but
not
he's
here.
he's a throw it down on the ground type of guy.
I don't think so. I think it's falling because we have dudes. We have a dude that wears sweatpants. I think it's falling out of his pants. But I was telling Jeff about this. He goes, I saw that too. I was wondering if you were fucking with me. I go, dude, I picked it up. I have like $7 right now that I've picked up out of the floor in the bathroom over the last fucking probably 30 days. I think that's the deal.
That's probably it.
We make them wear sweatpants. Like, because I don't let dudes wear sweatpants. You have to be ready to go wherever I need you to go with us. And I'm not wearing fucking sweatpants, so you're not wearing sweatpants. It's just like a dude showing up to work and doesn't... I shouldn't have to tell a man that you have to wear closed-toed shoes. Not steel-toed shoes. Closed-toed shoes. Because we might end up outside and nails go through Crocs and nails go through fucking sandals. And, I mean, let's back up to the part where we said you were a man. Like, anyway, speaking of wieners, the Wienermobile.
You know what? They had two Wienermobiles, but the Peanut Mobile was there too.
I feel like I know where there's an actual Peanut costume, the Peanut Man costume. Some famous stadium, I don't remember which one, but the dude used to walk around Central Park in some famous stadium and give away samples of hot peanuts it was the Planters Peanut Man, and it's sitting, I know right where we can go buy it. It's in Atlanta. And I'm like, we should do that. And the dude's like, it's kind of small. It probably wouldn't fit you, which means it's definitely not fitting those guys.
No, we'd have to get a midget.
Well, no. David, he keeps talking about I can't gain weight.
Yeah,
we
David
don't have to.
would
He's never going to gain weight. We'll just make him wear the peanut costume.
The problem with the Wienermobiles is they're in Canada.
That's a hell of a trip, though.
Yeah.
That's a whole. Because I fucked up like on the YouTube channel. James had the same problem. He had to go back and build playlists. You know, we should have like a prepper homestead playlist, a gear review playlist, just playlists, right? So that if we did want to go set up a channel, we could just fucking change them to a new channel or whatever, just kind of drag them over. Well, in theory, but you know that's not going to fucking work because nothing in YouTube works like it should work. But that could be a whole...
It would be a whole adventure, but are you up for that type of adventure? That's
Canada?
fucking some hotels.
I don't think I can even go to Canada.
You know what would be awesome?
I don't think I'm allowed in Canada.
Let's do it. It's Canada. Let's do a video of us sneaking across the border into Canada. I would love to get arrested in Canada for illegally crossing the border.
Didn't they have a movie where some kids crossed the border in like Siberia or somewhere, and they put them in a prison camp?
Yeah, that's not happening in Canada. They're too nice in Canada.
They'd fix your teeth.
I guarantee you, they'd be like, you're in trouble for crossing the border illegal. You want any health care? Something.
You always hear like prison. They're like, they're gonna fix your teeth and they're gonna fix any medical. No, they don't fix shit. As a matter of fact, one of the dudes in my room, he was a chiropractor, and when they really had some shit happen, they called the chiropractor to help do the stitches or do the whatever, keep the dude alive until the fucking helicopter got there. When you got there and you needed dental work, there was a dude dressed. I thought he was an admiral, like he's wearing a U.S. Navy fucking clothing. He's like. Who's the Surgeon General?
Surgeon General, right.
He looks like he's in some military uniform.
That doesn't belong to a military.
Yeah, and that's the dude. And he's like, yeah, we don't fix any teeth. He goes, we pull teeth.
Yeah.
You got anything wrong? I'm like, nope. I had 13 grand worth of dental shit before I came to prison. I figured that's what this was going to be. So I don't know why I have to go through this shit right now.
I mean, you just have to understand that the prison system. So if you're in a government-run prison, it's 100% going to be run by the lowest bidder, which means that they're cutting costs at every fucking angle they can. And if it's a for-profit prison, that's even worse, because any dollar they spend, they have to be accountable for. Right. So it's even worse.
My point to that is people are like, guys in prison, man, they get the best medical. And they don't. It's not. Don't fool yourself. Don't get put in prison to have your dental work done. It doesn't work like that.
No. Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
Unless you're in Canada, then it's got to be top notch because they have free medical and dental.
Okay, so back to the hoarding. We saw China go fucking crazy, right? They're all locked down. They're welding motherfuckers in buildings and shit. And then we see Italy, first cases of fucking SARS or whatever, COVID-19, whatever. And their shelves are empty. But are their shelves empty, or did they just find some abandoned ware? You don't know what the media is truly showing you. So I went out on Saturday, and we didn't see anything really crazy. Like, there was a uptick. Like, there was definitely people out, but I hadn't been to a Costco in probably a year. So I don't know. It's Nashville. It's busy. Who fucking knows? But Jeff went to Sam's Club, and they were out of the cheap toilet paper. And then now it's all over Facebook. Dudes are like, oh my God, my hometown Walmart has no toilet paper. Oh my God, hand sanitizer. Brandel tried to buy some hand sanitizer, and it's up to $60 a bottle on Amazon. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this. It's probably making it worse. But my feeling is a dude's like, yeah, let's go get some hand sanitizer. So he gets there and there's no hand sanitizer. And he's had in his head, I'm going to spend $100 on hand sanitizer. Well, that money in his mind is already spent. So he's at Walmart. So he's like, I'm going to buy $100 in canned beans. And that's what happens. 50 people go to buy $100 in hand sanitizer and buy the canned beans. And then the next dude, oh my God, there's no canned beans. So you see it on Facebook. I'm going to go see for myself. So you buy the paper plates. Or you buy the and before you know it.
Yeah, everybody has a house full of stuff that is useless.
So wait,
it's not really useless,
6 months and I'll buy it all from you for 10 cents on the dollar. Any generators, power tools, tractors you bought.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Gallons and gallons of hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
If you have all those gallons of hand sanitizer.
You guys
buy
some nails, buy some hand tools, buy salt because you're going to have to fucking do some canning, buy some seasoning. You guys are thinking wrong. You should already have that shit. That's the fact of it. You should already have that shit.
Or just embrace it. Just embrace it. Just get out there and be wild. I don't even know why you're saving canned food. Just get out there and be wild. Especially if you live in California. Don't worry, the state's going to take care of you. You'll be just fine. They will handle it.
There's plenty of peanuts and corn on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. And this is, I mean, you think about it. You think about it. What are we at right now? Like 20 people? I think we're at like 20. I mean, think about this. Especially if you live in California, because Josh has been sending all these pictures of his finger pointing at the shelf in Costco with no toilet paper. Just think about this. Only 20 people have died of coronavirus in the United States. Now, understandably, it could get a lot worse, but only 20 people have died. More people in the same time period have died from diarrhea than the coronavirus. And there's no toilet paper anywhere because people are going bananas. Imagine if Oregon tomorrow said, hey, by the way, we made a decimal point error and it was 90 people who died from coronavirus. There's not going to be a fucking popsicle stick, a battery, fucking nothing within 100 miles of that state that you live in.
We had more people die from the tornado here in town than have died. 11 deaths in the United States.
Yeah. So 22 people died from the tornado?
More people died in the United States last year getting bit by a rattlesnake or struck by lightning.
I bet
and you'd be, don't even look up the fucking honeybee stings.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're going out and you're buying some food for your family, if you're a man, that's your responsibility to take care of your family. It's not the fucking government's responsibility. The government has told you should have fucking 2 weeks worth of food in your house at all times for said disaster. If you don't have that already, then you are not a man, period. But if you're decided now that because of this, that you're going to go out and buy food, that's fucking wonderful. Buy food that you're going to use. Just buy stuff that you're going to use, but instead of buying 2 cans, buy 4 cans.
It's called copy canning.
Yeah, and use the stuff that you just make sure you have that food in your house.
Food's never going to go down in price.
No.
Right now, it's probably elevated. I haven't looked at it. Especially storage food is elevated in cost right now. Because people in the prepper space, they live from crisis to crisis. They live in poverty most other times. And because if that's their full-time job, they only make money when there's a crisis. So they have to hype that. If you look at all the guys making all the videos, oh my God, it's spreading. And if you look at one video on YouTube, you get fucking targeted for 50 more. And it's all this crazy shit, right? So watch a couple of those. Everyone has a call to action because every one of them has an Amazon store they make a piece off of. Every one of them selling N95 masks. They're selling canned food, whatever it is, right? Buy shit like Jeff said. Buy shit that you already use. If you're stocking food and you're upping your preps, when this is all over and the wind is blown over, and you continue to prep a little bit, and you're going to put some stuff away. The price, food never goes down in price. You can look at it like an investment. You actually make more money buying food if you use it than you would make on precious metals if you actually use the shit. The other thing to think of too, all the guys doing keto and all your girls doing keto and health allergies and food allergies and shit, you better buy some shit. If you're allergic to peanuts, you better know where all that bullshit's coming from that you're buying that you're not accustomed to eating. And if you're on keto and you're doing 100% keto and you really believe something's coming, you might want to dabble in coming off of this before it fucking shocks your system and you're eating bullshit out of cans and carbs and stuff.
Yeah, because most of your survival foods, high carbs, high sugars. Even MRE, it gets those. When somebody says there's 2,500 calories in MRE, it gets that from high carbs. So if you're that person that fucking can't eat fucking peanuts or what, you're definitely not eating MREs.
You're gonna be taking roadkill and boiling that bitch down to make broth with, and then you're gonna be fucking throwing your rice and all the stocks and all the normal shit that you throw away. That's all going in there. You're gonna boil them bones down to the point where you can fucking eat them. Like that's what you're looking at if this is real. Just have a plan. Fucking do this weekend. Go this weekend, because when this happens, if this truly happens, the power's going out. You guys need to know that. Your air conditioning in your 120 degree fucking house, when the AC's running and it's nice and cool, when the power goes out, that shit doesn't run. Your oxygen pumps don't fucking work. Your dialysis machines don't work. Your fucking refrigerator for your fucking insulin and refrigerated fucking medication, that shit doesn't work. Don't even tell the kids this weekend. Just fucking kill the fucking breaker. Turn the power off, and it will be very quick to you where you're lacking. That electric stove, where you're planning to heat all that shit up, that motherfucker ain't gonna work, nor is the microwave. That's the first thing that goes out is the fucking power. The water stays a little bit longer depending on gravity in your water system, and your natural gas stays, for the most part. But you might want to test that shit out. Redundancy, 3 methods of heat, 3 methods to cook, 3 methods to whatever it is you need to do. But that all changes. And the other news is that when this fucking blows over, those bill collectors are still going to be there. You think when society collapses, the IRS ain't going to fucking be there looking for their money when it fucking comes remotely back together? Fuck yeah, they are. You know what else is going to be there? Your student loans. So just have a fucking plan for that shit.
Think about your kids. If you're packing for that kind of stuff, it's one thing to take a fucking case of beans and weenies and throw them in the closet. But think about your kids. As far as you're going to want to put some sort of treats in there to morale boost for them.
I want
put
that.
Put some crayons and some coloring books in there because they're going to be bored out of their mind, especially if the power goes out. If the power goes out, the boredom is going to hit really quick. And what's going to happen is everybody's going to get antsy and everybody's going to want to go outside. And depending on what it is, you're not going to want to risk it. You're not going to want to risk it, especially if you're living with elderly parents or very young children. Right now, everybody's saying it's not really affecting very young children. It's mostly elderly that are fucking falling prey to this thing, and people with other respiratory ailments. So maybe the exposure on little kids isn't that big of a deal. But do you want to risk that? Do you want to risk having to go, not maybe we could just go pick up an extra thing, a case of water at the store, but having to go out into town, commingle with other people to buy something that your child desperately needs and bringing infection back. I mean, I can't think of anything more heartbreaking and tragic than infecting your children and having one of your children die because of something that you could have prevented by just thinking about it right now, by just doing it right now. Something is, it sounds stupid that we're all running out of toilet paper because everybody's going to get toilet paper. But imagine if that was the thing that your wife is beating you over the head with, that you have to go fucking loot a 7-Eleven to get a roll of toilet paper and you come back infected. I can't imagine that. So prepare now.
Now,
wash your hands.
You say go outside. You mean they can't play in the backyard?
Here's the problem.
Neighbor, fucking a mile up the road.
Yeah,
the wind's right. It carries a
you
fucking
don't know,
droplet.
If you're paying attention, right? If you're paying attention to the news at all, like look at South Korea. They have military guys in full mop suits in Korea right now walking down fucking streets with sprayers, spraying everything. With what they're spraying it, nobody's talking about it. The Chinese are doing the same fucking thing, which tells you that no one, even though the government is saying we think we got this locked down, it's telling you that they really don't know how this shit is spreading so fast. For them to be doing that, for them to mobilize the military and have them out there with fucking hand pumps spraying probably bleach all over everything, or who knows what the fuck they're using. That tells you that they don't know. And if they don't know, once again, are you going to take that risk? The other problem is, if it becomes apparent, if we're talking about your power's out, we're talking about there's no food in the stores. You need to be aware that eventually people are going to be coming to your fucking house to see what you got in your cupboards.
That was my thought when you said kids outside.
Yeah.
My fear would be more other people coming up and contaminating the kids.
Yeah.
Somebody has to watch the kids. You can't send them out. Somebody wants what's in your house. What's the easiest way to get what's in your house? Take your fucking kid. You'll be willing to barter and trade at that point.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to prepare. And here's the thing. If you think worst case scenario, so try and get worst case scenario in your head. And if you prepare for worst case scenario, and for me it's enough food and water to feed your family for 90 days. Just life cycle of a virus overall, 90 days. It'll be summertime, hopefully by then, and we can go do something else. 90 days. That, for me, that's worst case scenario. You should be preparing for worst case scenario, because if it doesn't happen, like let's say this thing blows over and in 6 months or Donald Trump's right, in April it just dries up and no more people, we're not having a big influx of people who are dying. That's best case scenario. Now I still have my supplies. I don't have to worry about, that's best case scenario. Be prepared for worst case scenario, because then anything in between, you're fine. It should be this. If society collapses tomorrow, you should be able to be like, this is no big deal. It's just like we're going camping.
And when you have something worth stealing, when you have something somebody else doesn't have that they want, it's worth stealing. You better have a means to defend that. You cannot rely on law enforcement. When this thing goes fucking crazy, if this fucking goes crazy or it mutates and people actually are dying from it, the cops that you're relying on, they're not going to go out and get contaminated and bring that shit to their kids. They're going to stay fucking home. They're going to move them to the fucking vacation home, wherever it is. That goes away pretty fucking fast. You better have some fucking alliances. You better have some fucking plans. You better have some training. You better have some fucking gear to protect that stuff. There's a lot more that goes with this. This could be a whole fucking series of videos. Yeah. We're just talking. There's plenty of survival fiction out there. What if this thing really was a weapon? Or what if this is just fucking fear to cause panic to collapse the economy?
And the other thing is, if you live in a community, so if you're stuck in California or New York City or wherever, and you live in a community, in any type of community, guaranteed, there's at least 4 of your neighbors that you don't know who know everything you have in your house. They know that you have been going to fucking Costco and buying all that toilet paper.
People talk.
They know you go to the fucking gun range. They may have no ill intentions. They may have no ill intentions whatsoever. But when shit is bad, people go to where they think things are. So what are you going to do when that neighbor that you don't know and his 4 booger eaters show up on your front door and they're like, hey, we know you have extra food. Or, hey, we know you have a gun. Or, hey, we know that you have insulin here because we know that your child needs insulin. So does my child. But we didn't fucking prepare for anything, so now we're desperate. You have to decide what you're going to do in those scenarios. What is it you're going to do? Are you going to bring them in and allow them to use your insulin? That might be the answer. The community might be the answer. Maybe now you have another able-bodied man that's going to help defend what you have from hooligans because you allowed their child to use your insulin. But what happens when all the insulin runs out? How do you explain that to your children?
You might want to have that conversation with your doctor right now too about stocking up on
Most
supplies.
most doctors or most insurance company will let you get up to 90 days prescription. All you have to do, like if you're, let's say, your insurance company says, no, we don't want you to have 90 days. You got to do it every 30 days. Just tell them you're going to Vietnam.
And I heard
or you're going to China, or you're going to fucking Hawaii, and then they will authorize 90-day prescriptions.
I heard too. There's a low income option for most of those prescriptions through Walmart.
Yeah, there's a
And then like insulin and stuff. You hear everybody talking about insulin. You can buy vet insulin also. You can buy dog insulin.
it's the same. It's the same insulin.
Just like your fish mox and your fish antibiotics. It's the same shit. It's in the same fucking capsules. So that's another option too.
Yeah, I can't remember what that. There's a couple of things that you can do to get your drugs a little bit cheaper, but
Lower income stuff.
lower income stuff. But just the big thing is, the one takeaway you should have from the coronavirus, or COVID-19 as they like to call it these days, is just be prepared. Just be prepared for anything. Be prepared for fucking anything. You should have stuff to stay in place, and worst case scenario, you should have stuff if you have to leave. So example would be the fucking tornado, right? There are people right now that are not going to be in their houses because of this. If they had a go bag with all their fucking important documents in it and shit, maybe a couple of power bars or whatever and some water, that's good to get you through that initial 48 hours. That's one of the things we were talking about earlier that you should kind of pay attention to is we always think about the federal government and if there's a disaster. If there's a localized disaster, if there is a earthquake or if there's a fucking tornado or a monsoon, if there is some sort of natural disaster, the federal government has the capability of pretty much getting things not perfect, but back into running order in about 5 days. 48 hours, you are going to have people on the ground, wherever that disaster is, fucking handing out water bottles with their little fucking orange hats on and their fucking vests, talking about where the FEMA trailers are going to be. But in about a week, they're going to be able to get things kind of normal. Even for really bad ones, like a fucking earthquake in California or whatever. But remember, those are localized. That's a localized problem. If they have a localized problem within the United States, the federal government's going to be able to handle that.
Because they mobilize assets from where there's not a problem.
Yeah, wherever the not problem is. I mean, we sent fucking firefighters to Australia. But if it's a national problem, if we have a fucking national problem, the grid goes out, the fucking Russians EMP us, or North Korea spreads virus 22 all over the United States. If it's a national problem, you have to have the capability to reestablish society. You do, because the federal government is not going to be there. They're all going to be in fucking Virginia in a fucking bunker, eating old fucking stale crackers that they buried there 100 years ago.
And you are you're always the first responder.
So just think about that and try and put a little extra stuff away so you're prepared if you have to shelter in place. Because they're talking about it. They're talking about it. I don't see it. I feel like they would have to be lying to us right now. So if you look at the death toll around the world, it's not playing out as bad as they are making it out to be. 3%, if the death toll was really as bad as 3%, the numbers around the world would be higher. Problem is, we don't know what the fuck is going on in China. Nobody does. When WHO and the CDC talk about China, they are talking out their ass. The Chinese government will not let any of those organizations go to ground zero, which kind of goes back to what I said before. It's because this is a weapons delivery system. It's not actually a virus that they're worried about the virus. Anyways,
Well, let's cut this off.
Okay, let's cut off. We got a long time.
Let's leave. Let's last word cliffhanger. There's a lot of posts going around saying that those people in China are becoming reanimated and coming back alive. Go ahead and cut that off. We'll talk about that next time.
if there is a next time.